everybody, my name is Tevin, and welcome back to The Altars. We are in a bad spot. We've been in a bad spot because half our dudes left us. Well, more than half, actually. A bunch of our dudes left us, and so now we're in a bad spot. And if you haven't seen the last few episodes, you really should go check them out, because they've been very, very impactful. Curiosity question, no. So it still has the slots filled. So I'm not able to just, make more dudes to fix the problem, which is unfortunate.
Make sure you have all the important equipment. Haste makes waste.
Thanks. Anyway, what do you want to talk about? Any sign of the dudes that I need to find?
I was wondering, aren't we getting any signal from the tour vehicle? We are, but it's ambiguous and very faint. It seems to be close by, but I'm unable to establish its exact location.
Okay.
So, you'll need to find it on your own.
Thanks. I'll look around then.
Fine. I'll take a look around. Good. We don't really know why we were lured here. Lured? You don't mean. Look. It's the technician we're talking about. An unstable, frustrated, resentful version of us. Whatever survival strategy he's boiled up, we had better have a heads up. The only way to guarantee that is to locate that vehicle. Maybe they left some analog tracks? Just be careful.
Yeah, I can look for tire tracks, but yeah, I don't know. I will be careful. We almost made it!
We've almost made it. How are you doing?
I'm trying not to think about it. Focus on the job.
Fair
I
enough.
almost envy those bastards that ran away. At least they know the shit that's gonna hit them. Or maybe I just wish we were all together in this, you know?
I do too. I do too, but they made a decision. Much though I don't agree with their decision. Yes, I should look for the rebels. Research lab. Get the scientist on that, and then maintenance. You're gonna do that, because for now...
FYI, looks like we're running low on repair kits.
So good. That's good to know. I'll make repair kits. And we have enough food for now. We don't... It's gonna be mush for a minute, because I got nothing else. Anyway, I should contact Earth, because that was the other thing I was supposed to do, and I should do that. Maxwell. Okay, hi.
Hello?
Jan? What a relief. We thought we'd lost you.
Yeah, so did I. The base got caught in a huge sandstorm. And I lost part of my crew.
What? Your altars? How could you let that happen?
I listened to you. Is honestly what happened. Kind of that plain and simple, but...
Simple. I let you sweet-talk me into all that biological vessel business. Unfortunately, they had a problem with it. So, they decided to go their own way.
You mean they ran away? And they're exposed to radiation?
They took the exploration vehicle. And some supplies.
Tell me not all of them left.
No. Why?
The ship is close, Jan. You have to be ready for the arrival of the rescue team.
Ready? How?
They can't find out about your altars.
First of all, it's a... what? Like, how... You haven't told anyone. You're all secretive. Fine, whatever. Sure. Yeah. But... correct me if I'm wrong. That's not going to be possible. If I'm going to get them on the ship, then... they're people. I'm not going to be able to smuggle them on board. Like, huh? I may be good, but I'm not that good. Like, goodness. I thought you'd take care of everything, probably. Actually, I really didn't. But aren't they your people?
Wait a minute. Aren't you the head of mining operations? Aren't these your people?
They might answer to me, but their paychecks are signed by Ally Corp. And if you confront them with your alters, they will have to react. The board will not tolerate anything that could cast even the slightest shadow on the legitimacy of this operation. And the rescue team is on their leash. Do I have to spell it out to you? They will have your alters killed.
Doesn't sound like much of a rescue team.
What? Killed? What kind of a rescue team are they?
They're a special ops unit. Military men.
Oh, good.
You could have told me earlier.
Please, Jan. You always knew their primary mission was to escort the most precious cargo mankind has ever seen. Did you really expect them to arrive unarmed?
So you lied to me. That you'd prepare them.
I told you I'd test the waters, and that's what I did. But there is a lot of pressure on your success, Jan. A lot of anxiety amongst the top management. They can sense the vultures hovering around them, waiting for any sign of a slip-up. And they won't let them smell blood. They won't expose themselves.
So what exactly is your plan?
The rescue team will arrive shortly before sunrise. You have time until then to come up with a way to smuggle your alters on board. In the meantime, you need to keep collecting Rapidium.
Yeah, sure. Once we take off, what happens then?
You will all go into cryosleep, and as the ship approaches Earth, Lucas will take remote control over it and modify the coordinates. The ship will land in a secluded location I've been preparing.
So... you're shady. I don't know how else I'm supposed to interpret that. That is shady as all hell. Okay, Maxwell. It's not a good move. It's a shady move. You want to get your hands on the Rapidium, I guess? No, you want your hands on the alters, is what you want. I know that.
You've been planning to get your hands on Rapidium all along.
You know it's not for any personal benefit, Jan.
No, I really don't.
I just cannot let it go to waste. I have a lab ready, and a guarantee of immunity from people who understand. I'm moving operations to a more science-friendly region, somewhere Ally Corp won't get to us. And, most importantly, where nobody will ever find your alters.
You're putting them in a lab? So you're not any better than the implants. You're, yeah.
You're putting them in a lab?
I won't sugarcoat it. We've come too far together for that. If you wanted to hate me, I probably gave you enough reasons by now.
Yeah.
Truth is, when I first heard about you, your situation, well, I'd be lying if I said it all came together immediately. On the contrary, I didn't hope for much. An accidental castaway with no qualifications, all alone, burdened with such a responsible task. But when Lucas told me you did it, you created your alter and managed to convince him to cooperate with you, I couldn't help but fantasize about where this could go. Can you see? I've been waiting for something like this ever since they shut down Project Hela.
Yeah.
You never stopped dreaming about reviving it.
You wouldn't be so surprised if you knew what we could achieve.
Cloning?
By altering mine records? What exactly were you up to?
We were exploring unconventional methods of helping war veterans suffering from PTSD. Instead of teaching them to cope with traumatic memories, we wanted to eradicate and replace them with positive ones. The idea was to prove that there are no different rules governing the mind and the body. Both can be treated by replacing a broken part with a healthy one.
And did you succeed?
We were close. But even if we had been allowed to finish that stage of the project, I had much bigger ambitions. Take, for example, the possibilities of re-socializing criminals by altering the experiences that led to their corruption. But why not go even further? Why should we limit ourselves to thinking only about altering the past? Why not be able to influence the future?
What? How?
The Tree of Life. You've seen yours, but it's just a projection, a rudimentary interface. Think about it. What if it was no interface, but an integrated part of the human mind, allowing us to live our lives exactly the way we should?
The way we should? What? You mean, make the right decisions?
Exactly. The human cognitive system enhanced in a way evolution failed to do in millions of years.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. Okay, first of all, that is seems extraordinarily, like, on so many levels wrong, right? I mean, trying to help people with PTSD, fine, great, good job. You know, if that's what you did and you really accomplished that in a way that was, you know, not bad and you really help people, then that's great. Resocializing criminals. Look, as much as I, you know, it's not that I necessarily feel sympathy for criminals, but they're still humans. And trying to alter who they are as a person without their consent and just kind of whatever, like, bleh, like, that's definitely wrong on a lot of levels. And then add on top of that this idea of, like, oh, we're just gonna make it so you can make all your decisions right and be the future. Like, no! No! I mean, first of all, part of the whole point of life is making mistakes. I mean, if life just went perfectly, if everything just went exactly perfectly for you in all cases, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be bad. I'm not about to say it would be bad. I mean, you know, there are definitely arguments to which that could be good. But I think part of life is making mistakes. Part of life is having things go wrong. Because if everything is always good, then you don't learn to appreciate anything. There's nothing to appreciate if everything's just always going right. I mean, there's just so much with that. And then trying to integrate that into the human mind, it's like, humans are not perfect. And you're trying to make humans perfect, which is impossible. There are so many ways in which that's impossible. Like, you are a mad scientist, ultimately, right? You started with a simple goal, and that was great. And the execution of helping PTSD people is great. Because, you know what, PTSD sucks. And, you know, these people don't deserve it. And whatever, that's great, you know? But then you go on further and further and further into the territory of completely dangerous. I mean, it almost like, it kind of makes me feel almost like Minority Report type, which if you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, the basic premise is, you know, you live in this society where a system can tell if you're, like, gonna commit a crime, and then you get stopped before you even do it. And it feels like the same thing, like having this system where you know all the decisions beforehand, or what is the right decision is, but how do you know? I mean, you can't read the future, like, ultimately, as I'm about to pick, it sounds unrealistic. The future part definitely sounds completely unrealistic. So, chill out.
Wow. That sounds completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
I prefer the term difficult.
No.
But Rapidium can help make it so much easier.
No.
Imagine a world where nobody ever takes the wrong turn. Children are never harmed. There are no court misrulings because there is no crime. Greedy and corrupt individuals never come to power, and because of that, wars never break out. Can you see now why your success meant so much to me? Do you not understand that giving Rapidium away for any other purpose would mean robbing humanity of its biggest evolutionary leap since we crawled out of the primordial soup? Do you still think there is a better purpose for your altars than to contribute to all that?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because the ultimate thing is, Okay? First of all, I do not believe that it is the biggest evolutionary step and it's gonna whatever. But the reality is, what you're describing is basically utopia. You're describing the perfect society where no one ever does wrong and everything is good and everything works perfectly, and that's great. Okay? It sounds great in theory, and I'm not saying that not having wars or crime or greed would be bad. There are plenty of ways in which that would be great. It would make the world we live in today a lot better. But the reality is that's human. And I think to strip that away is to strip part of humanity away. Because, again, there's a reason that utopia, when it was first, made as a word, when it was first brought into light, it was made to mean nowhere. Because a utopia doesn't exist. And trying to make a utopia is mad science. It really is. I don't know any other way to say that. And it's like, you have this ambition, and you know what? It seems like, whether you're just lying to me or not, that you're saying at least that your intentions are good, and I appreciate that. A good intention thing I appreciate, but still I think you're going too far, and I think you've convinced yourself that you're doing good for people when you're really not. So, but, regardless of that, I don't control them. As you can see by the fact that half of them ran away.
I'm not their owner. They're people in their own rights. I can't decide their fate for them.
That's very noble. But in a way, you've already done that when you created them.
Yes and no.
Look, all I'm asking is several weeks in a lab where I can run some tests on them, collect data, and prepare for the bigger leap.
And then what? You let them walk free?
You know I can't do that. It would be too risky for both of us and for them. But I could guarantee them a comfortable life. They would be hidden from the eyes of the world.
That's not life. I hate to break it to you, they wouldn't be living with that. And also, I don't understand how... Yes, I made a decision when I created them. And by creating them, I made some sort of decision on their life, because they otherwise wouldn't have existed. But that's, in its own way, like saying a parent should always have dominion over their child because of the same principle. In reality, no. In reality, everyone is their own person, and we always treat people as their own person because they are. And even if they're clones, they still have their own minds. They still have their own cognitive capabilities. They still have their own decision-making. So they are their own people, and we're not about to just ignore that, throw that away, leave that in the dust. We're not going to do that. That's not how that works. So, but anyway, regardless, back to the topic at hand, that's no life at all. It's just not.
Imprisoned.
The only alternative for them is to be disposed of by the corporation. Like waste. I think you need to take a breath. There's a lot to think about. How to smuggle your alters aboard that ship, for one. But first, you have to guide their navigator to your exact position. They'll need you to mark the spot with a beacon.
Okay, I can do that.
Start with that, and then... I trust you'll figure out what to do next.
Yeah. Sure. By the way, I wasn't an accidental survivor.
What do you mean?
The quantum computer chose me. Seems I was the one who had the biggest chance of making it.
Well, doesn't that just prove my point? We are capable of so much more than we think, Jan. All we need to do is open the door and let that potential in. You'll hear from me again before the ship lands. Good luck, Jan.
What if I don't want to hear from you, actually? Because, like, Loki, you say you trust that I'll make the right decision, and I'll come to a decision, and I definitely will come to a decision. I already made all my repair kits. Right. I'll definitely come to a decision. But whether or not it will be the decision that you want me to make, that is highly unlikely. Wow, this area looks cool. Oh, they look like dead, warped trees, and that's really neat. I could go into some detail on why that is, and I'll simply say that... What is that? That may be a promising sign of where my dudes are. All I'll say on that is, hey, tire tracks. I think they might be that way. How to get that way, though, I do not know. What was I gonna say? What was I saying? Oh yeah, they look like dead trees, and I guess a little context. I think I have mentioned this, though, very much in another series, which if you haven't seen that, then you wouldn't know this. But I am a photographer in my own right. I'm not professional of any sort, but I do it as a hobby. I do it for fun, and something that I personally like.
It must be the tour vehicle.
Yeah, I'm aware. I noticed them too.
At least I know which way they went.
Yeah. Ooh, I should get a planetary sample while I'm here. What was I gonna say though? Or what was I saying? Yeah, I'm a photographer, and one thing that I like in photography, one thing that I think is very neat as an element, if you can get it in a shot well, is dead trees.
Those rocks, they're shaped like trees.
Yeah, I know.
What are they really?
I don't know, but that's what I was saying. Anyway, lost my train of thought. But I think they're really neat. I think they're a neat thing to put in a photo, and at some point, I don't know when. I haven't meaning to do this for a while, but I just never really found the right time to do it, or like how I want to do it exactly. Excuse me?
Holy fuck. What's happening to me?
I don't know. I'm tripping out. That's what's happening. I don't know how I'm actually managing to keep tracking those with all that going on. I'm gonna be honest. That was interesting. Now I'm definitely all turned around. I think I came from there, which means I want to go this way, because I'm trying to find the integral vein. What was I saying? Oh yeah, but I've been meaning to kind of do it for a while, and I haven't found the right time to do it, or like how I want to do it exactly. Oh, time dilation.
I'm done here. Should I do this now?
I also realized that I'm going to need to beeline my way towards organics, because I am definitely low in the organics department. And eventually I'll actually be able to keep my train of thought and finish my sentence. What was I saying? Oh yeah, at some point... Nope, not that. I'm going to find a way to integrate my photography, and by which I mean at least make a video on it and kind of talk about it and explain it, and in so doing probably talk a little bit more about myself, because I realize, you know, I've been doing this for a few months now, and you know, I've talked about myself to some degree, but not completely. And there's definitely a lot that you probably don't know about me. And so, oh, my eliminator is out, just not... Where am I going? I think I'm turned around. But... Because I do want to talk about that and kind of get a little bit more about me. And also just talk about photography. Because photography is something I absolutely love. It is one of my absolute passions, that has been for a very long time. And it's something I love to do, and it's been a very big part of my life for a while now. And I'd like to be able to share some of that. You know, obviously not completely. Also, I realized he ran out of research, so I should... Free climbing would be nice. That would also be nice, but I need the suit upgrade, for which I need 2 planetary samples. Do some, like, enriched metals efficiency or something. I should beeline my way to try to find organics now. But, yeah, I want to get photography in here, because I think it's neat. And I need to figure out a good way to do it. I need to figure out a way to make a video on it that makes sense and seems good, and because I want it to be interesting. I don't want to just kind of sit there and talk on and on about photography and like talk in very technical details that don't make sense to people if they don't know anything about photography. but I also want to be able to explain it in a way that's meaningful and not just be like, yeah, I was somewhere and I did a thing and it was cool and I took a picture, you know, because that also just does not do justice. Some of the things, I mean, some of the pictures I've taken, and I need to assemble some of the ones too that have more interesting stories associated with them, because I do all kinds of photography. I do landscape photography. That's my main, like, area where I do, because I like landscapes. I think landscapes are pretty, and I think it's I just like to hike and take pictures at the same time. It's just something I very much enjoy doing. But all this to say, that's rupidium, which is great when I need that. But I love to do that, but there are some that have very interesting stories, because, you know, you can get all kinds of crazy stuff happening on the trails, all kinds of funky things or crazy things where, because I also do astrophotography, so I go out at night and take pictures of the Milky Way, which I very much enjoy. I think it's fun, and I think it produces really neat pictures, so I love it. But, all that to say, being outside at nighttime, you know, in the very, very dark places of the world, you know, where there's not all the light pollution from cities and all that, and that is some sort of sludge that I don't want to touch. But doing all that kind of stuff can produce some interesting stories and interesting little things. Oh my gosh, I'm in a minefield. Let me out of the minefield, please. Thank you. Because I just want to get here and start scanning. Okay. Get out the... Go away. Stop. Okay, can I take out my polygonal scanner again? Thank you. Okay. Guessing it's somewhere around this, like, central tree spire thing. Okay. Everyone just relax. I'm gonna need to recharge my stuff. Okay, I'm gonna have to wait this out. I feel like I was saying something. I got sidetracked. But I don't know what I was saying. So, I don't know. But yeah, I've done photography, needless to say, and I wanna kind of show that off. I want to be able to talk about that, because I do think it's neat. I think it is a neat window into some of the who I am, because it's definitely a big part of me. You know, it's a big part of my identity, I think. You know, it's a big part of me. I don't know. I'm saying the same thing over and over again, and I do apologize for that. But I don't know. I'm kind of hard to think and scan at the same time. There's only so much multitasking I can do. Getting closer, for sure. Back here, somewhere? Maybe up on the ridge. But yeah, because I do realize, like, you know, like, most of my stuff is just me gaming, which obviously was the point. And it's what I wanted to do, and I love gaming. You know, I've gamed for so long. Right, I've been playing video games most of my life, to be honest. And so, you know, it's a huge part of me, and it was the point, was to do that. You know, but at the same time, I also want to be a person. I want you to be able to know somewhat who I am. I mean, I'm not going to give you everything, because I'd like to have my own amounts of privacy, but I do want to be, you know, I want you to be able to know me. I want you to be able to know who I am and what I do and what I enjoy and, you know, stuff like that. because I think that's neat. And I think, you know, from my own experience of watching YouTube, it's good to have both. You know, it's good to obviously just do your thing and play your games and whatever. But also to, you know, be able to... this is not the right way to go. But also to be able to kind of, you know, share stuff about yourself and be more... Because, you know, I mean, I share a decent amount of kind of my thought process. You know, I do feel like I do that, especially with this game. I have yapped about what's going on in great detail because, well... There's definitely some interesting things to talk about when it comes to this game. How do I get a pylon through? Okay. How do I... Don't understand how to get a pylon through this. Guess I'll have to figure it out later, cause... Let me home. I want to go home. Don't know why I got so high pitched there. But sometimes it just feels right, you know? What can I say? And the scientist wants to talk to me. What do you want to talk about? Glad you're enjoying my park. That's now fixed, finally. Oh, yeah, the new weird... like kaleidoscopy or like broken reality anomaly thing. Yeah.
I thought you'd like to know that I ran into a completely new kind of anomaly. First thing that came to my mind was that it's some sort of a prism distortion. Really? What gave you that thought? Well, it behaved as if the reality around me suddenly split up into many different fragments. Wise of you to bring it to me. Any observations on interaction? Well, it didn't seem to do anything specific to me physically. No radiation. But it sure was messing with my brain. Felt as if I was in several different places at once. In a way, you might have been. Huh? You mean? Remember how I told you that anomalies are places where our world intersects with the interworld?
Vaguely.
Well, what you're describing suggests a distortion in which it comes into contact with not one, but many proximity planes. Entering it is likely to evoke a sensation of being in several parallel realities at the same time. Calling it a prism is accurate, because it refracts your consciousness into many simultaneous states.
That's mind-bending. As if I didn't have enough reasons to lose my sanity. True! This place is doing its best.
Shit. As if I didn't have enough reasons to lose my sanity around here.
Oh, good point. You'd best not spend too much time inside them. Plus, I suppose it must make exploration very inconvenient.
It's not great.
Can I destroy them like the others?
I did.
It should be possible. You just need to locate all of its cores and take them down one by one.
All right. Thanks for the tip.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Is the gym broken? Why is the gym broken? Oh, man. My dudes can't pump iron. Though it was really the refiner that was big on the gym, so... And he's gone. With everyone else. But... I'm going to leave this episode of The Alters here. I realize we didn't get that much done. I do apologize about that. I know the episodes have been a little shorter recently, but I've kind of had weird timing on stuff. Like right now, it's late where I am. I'm recording this very late to be posted tomorrow morning, so that's fun. So I need to get this edited, and I'm just a little tired, to be honest. So I'm sorry if I sounded a little tired or a little out of it at any point. That's my fault. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. Cause yesterday, I guess if you reached this far, then you can hear this, and if not, I meant to say it at the beginning, but I forgot, apparently. But yesterday I was helping my dad build his new computer. So that took a lot of my day, and that's sort of why stuff didn't come out today and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's just, there's been a lot going on. But they've been a little shorter. But that's okay. You know, we're still getting something done, and I am gonna push back to probably longer episodes. I've got some new stuff coming soon to help upgrade my setup, get my mic in a little bit of a better spot and stuff, make things a little better. So that should be fun too. That'll be soon. Probably not the next video, but the video after maybe, or 2 videos after. I don't know. It depends on what happens and how it all works out. But if you enjoy, please subscribe. Because it would really help me out, and it'd be good for me. It would help me grow my channel, which would be great, and I'd really appreciate that. But it'd also give you a notification whenever I upload a new video. And as I keep saying, there's plenty more to come when I finish the altars. I am gonna get this finished soon, hopefully. It does seem like there's not that much more left. We're pretty much on getting extracted and all that is pretty much the next step. So I think we're on the last, like, there's no more like big journey, rolly outy type stuff. So we should be pretty close to the end. And then I should have new stuff that I'm gonna do, or revisit some stuff that I never quite finished. I don't know what exactly the plan is yet. We'll see how that goes. But I've been yapping for not quite as long as I usually am, or have been when I say this. But regardless, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!